The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 334. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is the founder and owner of Toko Toko, and she'll explain more about it. And I'm really excited to have her on so she can share her story with us on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Lolo Santosa. Lolo, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Sure. Hi, Sheena. Good morning. My name is Lolo. I'm the founder and owner of Toko Toko. And we are a Los Angeles-based pop-up shop organizer and brand representative for mostly Southeast Asian brands in the U.S.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Lolo, what's your cultural background?
I am Indonesian descent.
Thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I love what Anais Nin says about life, and which she said, life shrinks or expands in proportion to someone's courage.
I think that's a great quote. I think that's actually the first time I've heard it because, courage is something that I think a lot of women, especially Asian women, lack because we've been so programmed to just do as we're told. So it's like if we do something outside of like that route that we've been told, it's like it's so scary. And when we have that courage to go out there and do something that we love versus something that we're told to do, I mean, that's what courage is, right? Doing it even though we're scared to death, even though if our palms are sweaty, if we're stuttering, if our heart is pumping, if we have butterflies in our stomach. I mean, that all comes with the territory. It just means like you're doing something that's different, and that could be something really great, right? So I really love that quote that you mentioned. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I went through a journey of finding my own self-confidence. And I think at the end of the day, to me, self-confidence is about being honest to myself and being very comfortable with who I am as a person, a mother, a wife, and a business person, really, now that I have my own business. I think, and I so agree with what you said about courage and how we, in a lot of Asian households, I think we've been so trained to play everything safe that you let go of a lot of things that are actually you're passionate about in an attempt to be safe. But that's a lot of times it actually makes you feel very uncomfortable because that's not who you are. And I think once that I was able to be honest with myself and pursuing the things that I love and that I believe in and that I'm passionate about, that's when I feel that my self-confidence starts coming into my life and it just penetrates and grows to so many areas in my life.
Thanks for sharing that, and love the definition and what you mentioned, which is true. Like, the more we're just honest and comfortable with ourselves, the more we can go out there and be the person that we are, or we're meant to be, or that who we want to be, right? Because it's not always easy being honest with yourself, just like looking in the mirror and asking, like, who am I really, right? I mean, not a lot of people do that, and it's uncomfortable. Like, if I remember doing that the first time and it was like, this is so weird, but like we do it, and the more we do it, the easier it gets. So thanks for sharing that. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Wow. You're the first person to ask me that. What a great question. I don't like to go back those days, but I think it's a very important question. I think I had a strong need of approval from others. It all goes back to being safe, not wanting to be different or to offend anyone really in my choices. But yeah, I think there was just, I would sit in a group conversation and listen first to everybody. It made it sound like I'm such a great listener, but I wasn't really, because I was just listening to group opinion and trying to find out what is this group all about. And then I would give them information that I thought they would love to hear rather than understanding that when you're in a conversation with a group of people or with another person, you want to understand that person, where he or she is coming from. So yeah, I was a lot like that. I was just wanting to play it safe and wanting to be the same as everybody else.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all can relate to, right? Like seeking approval from others, even though like we're, like you said, being in a conversation, it's like we just want to agree to everything they say because we just don't want any trouble. We just want people to like us. We just feel that need to feel like we're worthy, not realizing that's all within us. Like we know we have so much worth. We know we are great human, individuals who can go out there and do great things. And, what was that point in your life when you finally realized like, you are who you are today? Like what was that moment where you realized you found your confidence and started being the success that you are today?
I think it started really maybe about 7 or 6 years ago, but it really kicked in strongly about 2 years ago. My daughter was bullied by some friends, and she was bullied by boys, wasn't even by girls. And it was hard. It was hard to watch your daughter going through something very difficult in life. But I sat with her, and in her healing process, I think what it did to me also was it rebuilt me as a person as well. My first reaction, of course, was anger. But when I sat with her, I realized that everybody has some sort of pain in their life. We didn't know what causing people to bully us sometimes or to be mean to us. But now I understand there's some kind of pain behind everything that people do. And if we've in life had experienced the same pain, then we can all be more passionate to each other. So in rebuilding her and myself back, it wasn't with anger, but it was with love. But when you have a lot of love in you, you became very fearless. It's really weird because you would think that loving someone a lot or loving others or trying to understand people would make you be very weak, but it actually makes you very strong, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. I mean, when we learn to operate everything out of love, it just makes things a lot lighter. So you have that, like, this feeling like you can do anything because no matter what happens, there's someone out there or there's yourself. You love yourself enough to go out there and do it regardless of what the outcome is. And, I think that's something that's lacking, right? A lot of people act on fear versus on love. They act on hate versus on love. Like your kids being bullied, the people bullying your daughter is also going through pain. We don't know what their story is either. And I'm not saying that what they did was right, but if we can understand it, maybe we can find a better solution out of it, right? And it's great that you were able to rebuild your daughter and yourself at the same time. Because I know, like, hearing things like your daughter getting bullied, you just want to go up and probably punch the kids who did it, right? Oh, yeah. You're just like, where are they? I'm going to get them. So I mean, there's that too as a mother, right? And I'm sure it's not always easy. It's like, what do you do sometimes? So I'm glad you're able to share that experience with us. And because of that, what's your life been like now?
I just have a very different perspective of life. I see that, our time here could be very short. It could also be very long. But I think these days what my daughter and I try to do is make more meaningful contributions to our environment, to our communities. There's so much imperfections in this life. And if we can just make someone's day or our environment a little bit better, we say one kindness at a time, I think that would make our time here so much more meaningful than anything else, Sheena, really.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned, like, we're not perfect. We're going to have all these imperfections. And I think people forget that's what makes life beautiful. These imperfections, like we just live in a world sometimes where we have to be the most perfect being in the world, especially when you see covers on the magazine with like the perfect body or the perfect definition of beauty. It's like, we get stressed over that, not realizing like that's just someone's perception. It doesn't have to be yours. And half the people don't even know those are, altered to a point where it's like, it's a totally different person. So, it's true, right? It's just nobody talks about it. So I'm really glad that, you were able to mention like, we're just all imperfect and there's nothing wrong about it. If anything, it's great. And so thanks for sharing that. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think be very careful with your perspectives. A lot of time, our mind plays a very powerful trick on us. Our minds want to tell us that we cannot. And I think that's human nature, especially if we're trained in a household to be safe all the time. Then there's a lot of wants to just stay safe. But you just have to find it in you and just believe first that you can. I find that I have to tell my mind, I have to tell my perspective that I can. I have to go and just do it, because otherwise no one would do it. And then just go. Start telling your mind to listen to you instead of you listening to your mind telling you that there's this road of fear and failure. Tell your mind that there's this road. It's probably not going to be easy, but at the end, it will be very beautiful and it will be worth it.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's a great that's a great tip. I always believe our mind is so powerful. Like it's amazing what we can do, right? Especially when we learn to believe in ourselves. I mean, just that first step is a big step, and everything else will fall into place. Just learning to tell yourself like you can do it. Don't worry about it. We still love you even if you fall down. You can get back up and keep going. I mean, that's more than we can ever asked for, right? So I really love that tip that you mentioned. And Lolo, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out some of the things you've done, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, our website is up tokotoko.us, and we are also on Instagram, also as tokotoko.us. My personal Instagram is Lolo Santosa for Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Lolo, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Lolo's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Lolo for taking the time to share her story with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena. Thank you for your time as well.
Not a problem. It was an honor having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Sign up for our free membership site to get more amazing resources for self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.